a note, final note, maybe 9, on the history of philosophy by Bertrand Russell. A mesmerizing, wonderful novel, even if I must confess from the start that I didn't really get much of quite a number of chapters. The last one, for instance, dealing with mathematics and philosophy, even if explained in reasonable words and structures, I can't say it's beyond my understanding. That would be too much. Even if, who knows, a test might be welcome. But in terms of attention, which is required, as Csikszentmihalyi says in Flow, the book about peak experience, about being in a zone, about maximum happiness and joy, one of the main conditions is control of consciousness, attention, being there. Or what happens with those aforementioned chapters in the history of philosophy and some other books. Ulysses comes to mind by James Joyce. I just drift. It's like I'm high. I don't know. I have never been high, so I have no idea. But I mean, on marijuana or something. Perhaps it will be legalized, and then I can find it and have that experience once and for all. But I just don't concentrate anymore and think of other things when it starts dealing with numbers and what the idea of a number. And then it was interesting even for this procrastinating thinker I am. Some chapters dealing with Nietzsche, some lines drawn by Russell that attracted even my attention. With my attention deficit disorder, lines drawn, for instance, from Rousseau, continuing with Byron, who for some reason is included here and not Montaigne. That's odd, I thought. And then through Nietzsche and arriving at Hitler. Another line starts with Locke, and that's Locke. Locke. It is written Locke, but it's Locke. I am high on something, if not on marijuana. It's something I've been cycling through town to have with this French lycée, and there is something in the air. Autumn, who knows? Ending with Churchill and Roosevelt. So that's a good line there. But the other one is I had a note on Nietzsche, on the chapter on Nietzsche from this marvelous book, saying that I think I share quite a few of his ideas. Many are ridiculous, absurd, preposterous, but without going as far as accepting Übermensch and this nonsense of having the world destroyed if only we get an Übermensch, a real hero or something. No, that's not it. But I somehow, probably, perhaps wrongly, I agree with the idea that there's superior men and men who just, for one reason or another, not very often not their fault. Many, I guess the majority today, speaking of China, India, cannot get a proper education. Places in Africa where they're illiterate. Even in the developed world, I understand there are many functionally illiterate. They know the words, they know how to read and write, but they don't get the message from newspapers, or they don't understand what this or that is saying. So that's still very bad. And as I mentioned in the chapter, the note on Nietzsche, I have even across the fence from me a group of people who come once in a while and start with insults and I can't say the words. Why then not mine, inserting penises and, many times a minute. And putting loud music and acting with violence and fighting with each other. And I cannot help but feel that these people, probably not their fault. I mean, they didn't know better. They didn't have in their own families to teach them about the importance of education. They couldn't afford. Sometimes they had to start early on to do other things. If it was in some cases begging, which is not good, and it's imposed by parents. But then these parents in then turn on some. Let me not. I am just drifting away here. But from Nietzsche, I get this idea that there are people who are better than me. I don't know about you. And they should be leaders. They should be role models. And then there are people at this level, and then the other level who are less fortunate. And until everybody will be able to have a solid education and have the ability and the means to learn much more, it would be a problem. I also like to end on a lighter note. Some of his pronouncements on Schopenhauer. Was a cruel man. He pushed a woman on the stairs without caring, even if she was debilitated, and he had to pay for her. And when she died, he just wrote end of the payment or something like that, with no feeling, whatever. He was preaching abstinence, ascetic values, and stoicism, more or less. And he lacked lavish lifestyle, heavy, large meals. Strange in some ways. Rousseau was despicable. I've read in other places about him with his character and lunacy in the end. Spinoza was, it seems, the nicest philosopher of them all as a human being. Well, the end of the note.